So, Jan, why am I here?
Well, that's a good question. Well, I suppose you're here because I started off in estate agency about nearly 30 years ago now, and I, like most people I know, fell into it rather than was sort of taken into it through the education route. And all the way through my career, I've been, as an estate agent, as good as the people who taught me in the job. And the problem is that there is no regulation in the industry at the moment that decides who can come in, how good you are. You sort of live off your wits, really. And your training in the industry is only as good as the people that you've trained with or the firms that you've worked for. So the government obviously are not interested in regulating the industry. They think that we're doing a great job by ourselves. And although we've got august bodies like ALA and NAA who are out there, the regulation and governance that they provide to their members, but their members are all voluntary. They're all people who have chosen to be regulated, to be out there and have a code of ethics and a way of behaving that the public can rely upon. But it's not those people that are the problem and that are giving the industry or maintaining a poor industry image. It's those who choose not to be regulated because they don't want to have to adhere to service standards and things like that. And so, because the government's not interested in regulation to bring those lower level performers up, my thought in my mind was, how do we get to improve our talent pool? How do we get a better, more level playing field for people coming into the industry? And so my thought was, well, if you can't get those who are in the industry regulated into being better than they are, let's take people who've never been in the industry right at the start and teach them the process so that the learning comes before actually going into the business. And that's where I started to have a conversation with Norwich City College and said, is there a way that we could teach 16 to 18 year olds, like doing a BTEC type of environment, and teach them using the NAA and ALA qualifications how to be good estate agents in the classroom, and then have them go out into the world with that kind of experience and those qualifications, never having learned to do it wrong, going straight into our businesses with a higher level of education than most people already there. So that was really where it all kicked off from. Norwich City College principalship were absolutely fantastic. They were very for it. They thought it was a great idea. They could see, and I demonstrated that there are jobs out there. Recruitment is really difficult in lettings and estate agency to get people to come in. So there was already jobs that were, unfulfilled that we could feed into. So I guess at that point we tested the market. There was interest out there. We put an advert up and said, anybody interested in this course? Lots of young people came forward and said, that sounds like a good thing to me. And with an entry level as many BTECs, which is 5 GCSEs with English and maths, it was a more attractive option than quite a lot of other things that were out there that they didn't think were quite so exciting as property and estate agency. So the reason you're here is that we then had to find someone who could teach such a course, a full-time course leader. So I guess we had a look around, and the college had a look around, did recruitment drive, and you must have seen the advert.
Yeah, I was working as a mortgage advisor in Crawley, so near Gatwick, and I've got 15 years experience as an estate agent and letting agent, and owned a business, and I just saw it and I thought, well, this is actually a really good opportunity for the students. There's never been a course teaching children of this age, and I've lived overseas for a number of years and have taught kids English whilst I lived overseas, and I just thought this is a really good opportunity to get kids to engage with something that I didn't have as an option when I left school. I, like yourself, fell into it, so it was a really good thing for me to do. And since we've started, we had last year was the first year that we ran the course. We had 20 students go through the course, and the feedback was very good. They studied letting last year, and out of the students that studied letting, 9 of them have since gone on to find work in the industry. We've got 7 of them that have come back for a second year with a view to going on to university, and they're studying now the sale of residential property. And I just try and make it as vocation as possible. So what I'm trying to do is build a course that gives them an insight into what the legalities are behind selling and buying and renting houses, but also some of the practical tasks. So we've, for example, been out to Rightmove and looked at how the industry markets itself to the consumer. We've also been able to borrow from local estate agents some properties and carry out some of the practical tasks that they don't get unless they work in the industry, and that was quite a good thing. And obviously with yourselves, you've backed and backed the course quite heavily, and you've been in and spoken to us, which is great. So yeah, we're really pleased with the way things have gone. I don't know what your feedback has been, because you're the guys on the street. How have you found the students that because they've been in and had interviews with you, how have you found them?
Well, without exception, they are a really polished act, and I can't believe, it's sort of the Norwich NAA and ALA conference, we've met these young people who've come with just a few months really of teaching and learning in the environment, and they're so professional, and they've got a good conversation to have. They've clearly got a grip of how their business works and how businesses work, how estate agency businesses work. My firm, Arnold's Keys, has been a huge advocate for training and apprenticeships and bringing young people in and developing them through our firm. And for us, this is exactly the kind of talent pool that we want to tap into to bring people through into our business. Our business is a partnership, so we thrive on bringing people in and developing them through our firm. And many of my colleagues who are also members of the Norwich and District Association of Estate Agents, which is nothing to do with the National Association of Estate Agents, but they are equally enthusiastic, because we all have a common issue with employment, which is there are not enough people out there to employ in the roles that we have. And uniquely, I think we're sitting there as an industry saying there are just not enough applicants for every job that we put up. So for us, it's marvellous to be able to have this group of people that we can look at for next year when they finish their full 2-year course to employ in, and in some cases, as you say, even sooner. Yeah. So as a body of people, there are nearly 40 member firms in the Norwich and District Association of Estate Agents, and that represents less than half of all the estate agents in Norfolk. So those firms are very well on the radar of what we're doing. And other places in the country, I spent 2 years going around the country, or best part of 2 years, in my role as President-elect and then President of the National Association of Estate Agents. And I can tell you that the same situation is the case in almost every area that I've visited. And other colleges are now looking to Norwich City College Property Academy to deliver out the learning that we've worked out here, that you've thrashed through and ironed out as a teaching programme, into other parts of the country. And then we've got universities now looking at writing estate agency degree courses to link in for those who don't necessarily want to go straight into employment at 18 but want to take things on a little further.
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it? The kids are going to get the opportunity to go and work in the industry, and if nothing else, they're going to come out of the course with the knowledge of their own rights as consumers if they go and buy houses, and also their rights as tenants. So from their point of view, life skills are very important, and to see them grow from these timid little teenagers into adults that are preparing for work is absolutely superb, and I think that's the main aim for us, really.
Absolutely, and it not only teaches them life skills in terms of knowing what they're doing when they come to rent their first property, which for students typically is your second year in university, when you're kicked out of halls and you have to go and find somewhere to rent, and all the horror stories that people can remember from student days. They will have such a good set of skills to be able to manage that situation. But also what we call the soft skills will be there as well. They will be learning to negotiate, they'll be learning empathy, be learning customer service, how they can, how you deal with people, and those kind of skills are transferable to pretty much anything that you do in life. It makes you a better human being, it makes you a better other half to somebody, but it also transfers into other professions if you decide to do something else in the future. Yeah,
that's really good. I guess we'll just have to see what the students think now.
Absolutely, let's find out what they think.
Yeah.
Can you give your names and how old you are, please?
I'm Connor Westlake and I'm 17.
I'm Georgia Howes and I'm 18.
Okay. Why did you decide to come on the course at Norwich City College?
Well, I joined the course because I want to be a surveyor when I'm older, and this is obviously give me a good footing in the sector, as well I lead to and do in my future career.
And I went on the course because it gives you a good grounding in business as well as letting you achieve the qualifications you need to be an estate agent.
So what do you feel that you've gained from the course so far?
I've gained a lot of expertise in the sector, especially regarding estate agency, which is what we've been studying now, just selling houses, contracts, all that.
At the moment we're learning a lot about the law in property, also just general customer skills, just a good grounding in everything you need to know really to then go on to work in that profession.
And are you intending to go into the profession when you finish the course?
Yeah, I'm hoping to enter the surveying kind of occupation when I'm older, hopefully by apprenticeship rather than university, but I'll do whatever it takes to get there.
I'm either looking to go on to a estate agency or, like Connor, go into surveying after the course.
Okay, thank you. Can you give your names please and your ages?
I'm Daniel Ringer and I'm 19.
I'm Molly Williams and I'm 17.
Okay, why did you decide to go on the course at Norwich City College?
I'd always been interested in estate agency, and this is the only course of its type really anywhere, so as soon as I saw it was there I applied and thankfully I'm on really.
Yeah, I was really interested in sort of buying and selling properties, so sort of getting into the property ladder, then learning more about how I could buy properties, do them up, then sell them on, make profit.
So what do you feel that you've gained so far from the course?
I feel we haven't just learned the selling and the buying, so I think I've learned a lot about being able to sell and being able to talk to people as well, which I think is quite important about the course, as well as the law and all the other side of it. We've learned a lot more than that as well, I believe.
Yeah, we've started off on the law, which was really interesting, sort of learning about how much there really is to learn about property and all that's involved in it, and talk. So we've gone out and spoke to the estate agents, which was really good to sort of see them.
Okay, and when you finish the course, are you intending to go into the property industry?
I very much hope so, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to do. At the minute I'm not quite sure what part of the property industry I want to go into, because there's lots of different, obviously, letting and buying, but hopefully one day I'll be in the industry of some sort, yeah.
Yeah, it gives us a lot of opportunities sort of taking this course, so hopefully that will give me a better insight into what I want to definitely go into, but certainly selling and buying properties.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.